All right, a very good evening to you. Welcome to the Insight segment here on GBS TV, where we tackle all matters politics in the country. Tonight we have so much lined for you. Join in the conversation tonight through our social media platforms, that is GBS TV Africa, or our SMS line, that is 21144, using the hashtag, that is the Insight. You can also send your questions and engagements on my handle on Twitter, that is at @Sete_Emmanuel. Let's kickstart this discussion. And joining us tonight is Honorable Daudi Kose, the founder of Kibra Societal Empowerment, Peace and Budget Champions organization that is aimed to fight for the rights of the forgotten in the society. Also, we have Silas Angira, who is a lawyer and a former Nairobi senatorial candidate. We'll be talking about matters that are pressing in the country. Key among them, we're going to start with the economic state of the country in relation to the high cost of living. And of course, we're going to talk about President Ruto's reorganizing the roles of his Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and that of Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. Not forgetting the impeachment fiasco that is happening in the counties. Also, we're going to tackle the issue of ghost workers in the county. And again, we're going to focus on the two-day tour in the Nyanza region where President Ruto is visiting the area. And finally, Rigathi Gachagua versus Sakaja. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, before we even begin with the main topic, that is the economic struggle that the country is going through, we saw that in Kiambu lately, the MCAs have decided to cause an uproar, and they are they're thinking of impeaching the governor. And recently we saw Kawira Mwangaza survive an impeachment in Meru County. What's your take on that? We'll start with you, Bwana Daudi.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I'm so grateful to be here with you on tackling the overview of the political temperature. If I may comment on the impeachment fiasco, it is clearly that all these impeachment fiasco are politically instigated, being that our MCAs are always they are always having higher expectations in terms of when it comes to matters county systems development. It is clear that the Kawira impeachment process shows the country that indeed all the impeachment process lies upon the Senate parliamentary Senate docket, because it is also clear that if the government at hand does not have any interest in the impeachment processes, none of the impeachment processes will go through. Because even I heard that the former Senator Governor Wamatangi is also being on the line of impeachment process, of which I say all these systems are politically instigated, and if you cannot go by the demand of the member of county assemblies, they will always try to impeach you. That's why you saw even Sakaja having a consensus deal with the Azimio party by giving the ODM people 3 posts in the CEC. You saw that the demand was 5 posts, 5 CEC, but he gave them the 3 posts of CEC.
Williams, hold on that point. Williams, what do you have to say on that point?
Well, I would love to concur with him, but I would say, MCAs are well within their mandate to try and impeach her. It is within their mandate, and that's the beauty of this country. We have democracy.
Exactly.
However, there is more than meets the eye. MCAs within Meru County know where the shoe pinch. Where the shoe pinches. So whatever we may see in the news may not necessarily be what is politically instigating this impeachment. But I would also say the Senate had their day.
Exactly.
And the MCAs had their say. Thank God this is a democratic country, like I said. And I think just the way it went, it was fine. From my end, I feel like there is, very much politically instigated. They're trying to twist the governor. Let the governor, they started this process even before the governor had stayed in office, within 100 days.
So do you think these impeachment motions are caused by issues to deal with budget? Because in the previous regime, we have not seen so much cases. Are we
I wouldn't even say budget as such, because, the budget process, there's a procedure that is followed with the budget process. And what usually happens is at some point of that budget process, there are calls for public participation.
Exactly.
So at the point where we have public participation, everything is laid bare. I wouldn't say that is where the problem is, because I feel like during this problem just started right after the governor was about to be sworn in. This was something I don't want to say much, but I would say that this is something that is politically instigated. Has a lot to do with political rivalry and a lot of petty politics that does not help the county.
Now, on to something that is making and is giving Kenyans much pressure. Looking into the briefing that the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury actually released, it will say that the cost of living is going to be high. Kenyans should brace themselves for a very high cost of living. What do you have to say about that? What is Bwana Daudi?
Thank you so much. It is true the cost of living is very high, and the protected growth rate GDP ratio is lying at 5.5 to 6.0%. And I believe the bottom-up pyramid model will drive the economic state by supporting our implementation of favorable tax regime, supporting micro, small enterprise, small, medium, and enterprise, and just by the fact that Kalanu Gulalu process, the high cost of living will not change immediately. It will gradually change bit by bit. But the government and other system are on the table that will make the process change. For example, the Galano Kulalo scheme, which was changed into agricultural activities, development purpose. A dam is going to be built there, constructed there, and in 2 to 3 months, activity shall take place. These are the process where the cost of living will have to come down. Or to add on top of that, very clearly that importations of flour are being undertaken, importation of fertilizer are being undertaken, and all this, we have also to support the markets at hand.
Exactly.
For the cost of living to come down, it will gradually come. And channels of collecting tax also must be transparent, so that the government can get full tax to operate their systems.
On the same issue, the country is coupled with the worst drought in 40 years. And as I said earlier, the Cabinet Secretary told us to brace ourselves for a tough ride. Numbers of Kenyans facing starvation hits about approximately 4.3 million. Now, the Galana Kulalu project, as you issued earlier, President Ruto said it was sabotaged by a number of individuals. I'm going to stick to that point. Actually, what do you have to say about that statement that the president said?
The statement, it is clear and transparent that there were cartels and brokers on the Galano Kulalu scheme who wanted to benefit themselves. And you know very well that the project was a project which was being undertaken by the Israel company, which was also overhauled by cartels who wanted their own self-benefits. So the government, the president, His Excellency, the President William Samoei Ruto, has been in the government, and he knows a lot in the government.
But President Ruto said that once he's put into office, he's going to deal with those cartels. So many days have gone by. We're not seeing any cartels being held. What do you have to say about that?
I wouldn't want to talk much about cartels, because this country has been bedeviled by cartels in almost every other area.
Exactly.
It is not a thing that it is not something that President Ruto will just wake up one morning and say, we are getting rid of these cartels. And I think when it comes to the issue of the cost of living that we have today, I think Ndini Nyoro hit the nail on the head. Honorable Ndini Nyoro had mentioned, curtailing mismanagement of funds. So we introduce austerity measures. Because various government agencies have been mismanaging funds. Exactly. In fact, when the president went to Nanyuki, one of the issues they had to tackle there were how the government ministries were not performing well, and he wanted them to curtail on how their budget expenditure is, and to come up with new strategies without having to use more money. I don't know if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So while I saw what Ndini Nyoro said, and I'll just maybe repeat part of it because I agree with him on these measures which can be used to curtail this problem that we have. And one was to suspend recurrent expenditures.
Exactly.
And the other one was introduce harsh austerity measures. Now, when he was talking about the austerity measures, he was talking about a suspension of any new construction initiatives, and so that we weather this crisis. And the other one that I think I liked what you were saying was when it comes to these recurrent areas, such as domestic foreign travels, communication, printing, training, a lot of expenditures that the government has, the government officials are appropriating, are inflating the budget. So if we can find areas where we can make the budget in such a way we don't have to use so much budget, and that the amount that is surplus, even the one that is going on supplementary budget, that amount that is surplus can be used in other areas that will help the economy, that will boost the economy, especially in terms of food, agricultural sector. That would be a good thing.
Now, sticking to that, before we go to Honorable Daudi, the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury has emphasized that they will focus on aggressive revenue collection and lower expenditures in order to live within our means. How do you think that is going to be possible for us as Kenyans, looking at the tough economic style right now we have?
I don't agree with that as such. Some of the moves they're getting right. And some of the moves the government is getting wrong. For instance, when they're talking about enforcing tax on certain areas, you can see the High Court, for instance, curtailed or stopped the mobile to bank charges.
Exactly.
And that is something they were hoping they would gain from. We are still, I would dare say we are still recovering from the effects of the pandemic. So if you're going to tax everything, you're going to cripple Kenya, even the little that Kenyans have, you're going to cripple the Kenyans.
Yeah.
We will not be able to move. Find more creative ways. Find more creative ways to tax, other than just touching on things, petty things, really.
To you, Bwana Daudi Kose, the Deputy President actually said he's on a tour, on a trail of borrowing food. He himself is starving for his people. What do you have to say about that? He said that he's looking for food for his people, yet he's in the office. What do you have to say about that?
Are you talking about the tour in Nyanza region or the tour across the world?
No. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua was echoed saying that in effect to this economic change, that he is actually borrowing food, or he does not have the capacity to have food for his people. What do you have to say about that? Yet he's in government.
Of course, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is now eyeing on the Mount Kenya kingpin process. And what I know, if he's talking about borrowing of foods, I don't know whether it is inter-county food productions projects where we, if we have a lot of fish in Nyanza, then we can have some staple foods of potatoes from different areas, so that So I don't understand the statement of borrowing foods, yet We know very well that Kenya at the moment is experiencing very hard times, and every county, not even the Mount Kenya, every county across the 47 countries are experiencing hard times. So in terms of food, everyone is experiencing hard times in terms of basic needs and how they can take care of the family. So that's all I can say about food.
Let me add something on that. You know, sometimes I wonder if the president is helpless in this situation. What are the Kenyans supposed to say?
Expound on that.
Let me say this. If you look at countries like Dubai or the UAE or the countries in the Gulf, you find that those countries are deserts throughout. 24/7 they have, if it is drought, they have drought, including Israel. You know, our president is a PhD holder, I think in agriculture, something like that. I'm sure he has solutions to this. But let me expound on what I'm trying to say here. In these countries like Dubai and the rest, since they don't have, they struggle with drought, but they have other resources that they can harness to get capital to procure food from outside.
Exactly.
Why can't Kenya do that? Because I know Kenya is rich in resources. We can harness the resources, and every county in Kenya has certain resources. I'm sure that even oil, Kenya has oil. I don't want to get much into that, but I feel that the oil that we have in Kenya should be nationalized. I don't think it is nationalized yet. It needs to be nationalized, and let us put concentrate our best efforts on finding ways which this oil can be exported, and we get money, we get capital, so that we can procure. If we don't have food, we can procure not GMOs. I'm talking about food, actual organic food that can be procured from other countries.
Before we continue on that, the Galana Kulalu project, where in February the government is starting with 10,000 acres, and in the next 2 to 3 months they're going to continue with that project. Do you think it's going to solve this dying issue, Bwana?
It is true. It will contribute a tremendous change, but it will not come with immediate effect, because these are agricultural activities, whereby if it is maize, it has to go within a process of a duration of time. If it is every kind of crops, that goes within a duration of time. But at the time when the crops shall be ready for yielding, I think it will solve a little bit issues. A lot of issues shall be solved. The project that the government has put in place at currently, it's only that it is the third day that we are going at a budget making process. If you are there and you are attending the public participations moments, you can see that the government is working very hard according to the manifesto, to the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, in terms of bringing back the reality back to the hustler person on the ground.
What about that hustler that right now is really struggling, and actually during the campaigns you saw the President William Ruto and his deputy, they actually gave promises that within the 100 days such cases will not occur, the food security will be sorted out. What do you have to say about that, Bwana?
It is true, but I just want to confirm to you, in the calendar of the normal and legal year, the government at hand is only 2 weeks. I think 2 to 3 weeks old, following the grounds on the next day of the cabinets, the CSS and the PSS, who are now kindly right functioning. But all I can say is that into the promises that they made during the campaigns, the government of the day found the state of the government at a very dangerous state. It was literally inherited from the former government, and the culture of grabbing and looting public resources has been in this Kenya since 2002 up to date. So if this culture can be dealt with in accordantly, where His Excellency President Ruto said that he will he will deal with the corrupt leaders, I think we will have a very great change, because at the current debt that we have, is very high. Is very high compared to the situation on the ground.
Hold on to that point. We are taking a short commercial break, but continue engaging with us on our social media platforms. We're going to have more discussions with these esteemed gentlemen. Continue staying with us. We're going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. That's nice. That's nice. We're moving on to
Welcome to Mahanaim International High School. Are you worried about the character of your child? Mahanaim is the best Christian and character building school and offer British National Curriculum, IGCSE O-Level and GCE A-Level, and mixed day and boarding school. For more inquiry, call 0710 111 333.
Nakukaribisha tena katika makao makuu yako katika ulimwengu wa michezo.
Yoga is not a sport. Yoga is actually a way of life.
Ukiona FIFA inaingilia kati, it means that the FIFA rules have been violated.
From day one akiingia kwa akademi yako, unamwambia masomo na talent lazima ziende. The moment nasikia masomo imeenda hivi chini, hata time out. Hata hiyo time out kwa football na account.
Wanawake ni wengi actually mpaka saa hizi. Tumekaa ni kama tumekuwa wanawake wamekuwa wengi kuliko wanaume. Kuna wale ambao ni artistic. Yes, wanapenda mambo ya kuigiza.
I am coded to look for solutions.
You limit yourself, not the sport doesn't limit you.
We say a dedicated women only show that focuses only on women.
Nakukaribisha tena katika makao makuu yako katika ulimwengu wa michezo.
Yoga is not a sport. Yoga is actually a way of life.
Ukiona FIFA inaingilia kati, it means that the FIFA rules have been violated.
From day one akiingia kwa akademi yako, unamwambia masomo na talent lazima ziende. The moment nasikia masomo imeenda hivi chini, hata time out. Hata hiyo time out kwa football na account.
Wanawake ni wengi actually mpaka saa hizi. Tumekaa ni kama tumekuwa wanawake wamekuwa wengi kuliko wanaume. Kuna wale ambao ni artistic. Yes, wanapenda mambo ya kuigiza.
I am coded to look for solutions.
You limit yourself, not the sport doesn't limit you.
We say a dedicated women only show that focuses only on women.
Nakukaribisha tena katika makao makuu yako katika ulimwengu wa michezo.
Yoga is not a sport. Yoga is actually a way of life.
Ukiona FIFA inaingilia kati, it means that the FIFA rules have been violated.
From day one akiingia kwa akademi yako, unamwambia masomo na talent lazima ziende. The moment nasikia masomo imeenda hivi chini, hata time out. Hata hiyo time out kwa football na account.
Wanawake ni wengi actually mpaka saa hizi. Tumekaa ni kama tumekuwa wanawake wamekuwa wengi kuliko wanaume. Kuna wale ambao ni artistic. Yes, wanapenda mambo ya kuigiza.
I am coded to look for solutions.
You limit yourself, not the sport doesn't limit you.
We say a dedicated women only show that focuses only on women.
Welcome back. 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 Welcome back.
everywhere. GBS.
All right, welcome back to the segment here on Insight, where we have been so far going through the discussion, and we are okay so far. The gentlemen are still with us, and we're going to continue with this great conversation on all political matters. Remember to continue engaging with us on our social media platforms, that is GBS TV Africa, across all the social media platforms, or you can send your views on our SMS line, on our SMS line, that is 21144. Gentlemen, now let's continue with the discussion about, I will talk about the reorganization of Ruto's government, where we have seen the president has reorganized the roles of his deputy president, that is Rigathi Gachagua, and his prime cabinet secretary Musalia Mudavadi. In an executive order by the president, the role of the prime secretary Musalia Mudavadi will be under the executive office of the president, while the deputy president, other than deputizing him, the president, he will chair cabinet committees and oversee the implementation of decision passed by the cabinet. I'll start with you. Why the sudden change by the president?
If you notice, there has been a conflict between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Capital Markets Authority. Mm-hmm. And this conflict was a conflict of who is the actual parent authority of the coffee market.
Exactly.
And it so happened that they had this conflict and took each other to court, and then one agency was using government resources to sue the other agency. That is a very bad sign. It shows that the government by itself is not organized. They are quarreling, they are fighting with each other. Their jobs are not very well defined. Mm-hmm. Someone doesn't know his job description. And I think, I like the idea that Ruto is very quick to solve things like this. He's very strategic.
Exactly.
So to stop all this quarreling, he calls them to a meeting and says, you know what, I don't want this bickering between you people. Exactly. So what we're going to do, I'm going to reorganize this. I'm going to make my deputy Gachagua in charge of all this. Mm-hmm. And that has brought sanity. I agree with that. Whatever he's doing, it is, President Ruto says this government is not my government, it is the government of the Kenyans. Yeah. So whatever he's doing, I believe is for the betterment of the country.
What do you have to say? What do you have to comment about that?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I will support Wakili on that, but I also want to bring it in a different angle of reorganizing the cabinet and the responsibility in terms of roles also enhances the accountability course. Right. Between each and every institution. And if you see the positive energy that our president has is targeting to deliver to the Kenyan citizens and he always says that the Kenyan citizens are the employer. They are the employees. Exactly. So even by proposing and sending the proposals of his minister, asking the parliamentary system to change the standing orders so that his minister can be interrogated in the parliament, exactly. He has a goodwill for the country. If you can really just see the concepts as which he's working on his government, he has a goodwill for the country, but just not to forget about Mudavadi and Rigathi Gachagua. These are predecessor. They are doing they have to support the predecessor accountability and the predecessor framework and structure of doing governmental works.
On the same point, actually, there are rumors, actually speculations going on online that President Ruto actually sidelined these roles to actually remove the fight between who's going to be the second, because Rigathi Gachagua felt he's not the second in command, and the other side, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi felt that people felt he's being given the role of the deputy president. What do you have to say about that? I will start with Buana Brilliance here.
I like to look at the government as a family, where our president, is the man of the house.
Exactly.
And the other ones who are flanking him, they're like the neck of the house. They're like this is. I don't want to use this analogy, but like these people should have equal roles. From where we saw the deputy president and the chief cabinet secretary when the president was reading their job descriptions.
Exactly.
To me, it sounded like these are people of the same. These are like brothers of the same house, and they need to have to avoid this sibling rivalry. They need to have well-defined roles and equal in nature. But they're not they're not conflicting with each other. I think in the public, it's starting to play out that these two have differences. They might try to cover and use PR, but it's coming out that they have differences.
Exactly.
And not just in this area, where one person is trying to impose their superiority. It is also in many other areas. You can see who is supporting who is supporting who, and ultimately it's showing cracks in the house. And until the president cracks the whip, it will continue playing out like this. So this is, to me, is a game of power. He's trying to balance power, and I think just like brothers in the house, they need to stop that.
Exactly. Your comment before we go on.
Okay.
On the same.
On matters of Rigathi Gachagua and Mudavadi, it is true. Son of Mamao, that is Rigiji, want to take control of the executive powers as the deputy president. Remember how William Samoei Ruto, as the deputy president, was sidelined in the current in the former government.
Exactly.
So Rigathi Gachagua knows his role very well, and he wants to take charge. So by taking charge, the prime cabinet minister also feels that Rigathi Gachagua is also trying to entrench in his line. But the truth of the matter is that before, Mudavadi was like a flower girl as the prime cabinet minister. But after reorganizing of these roles, now everyone can see the actual fact of each and every institution and their mandate. So I support the reorganization of the roles, and I hope you will see a lot of politics. You haven't seen anything. A lot of politics is coming. You remember even Senator supporting their son, that Rigathi Gachagua should not be talking about Nairobi politics, where he is Azimio, and Sakaja is a son of Kenya Kwanza.
Now, on to something a bit different, but just concerning the president. He's right now on a two-day visit in Nyanza region, where today he actually was welcomed. He received a warm welcome in Homa Bay. What's Ruto's move towards this? Raila is Raila's stronghold. What do you think about that visit? We'll start with you. Of course, he is going to do his projects, the housing project, but
I could look at it from maybe two angles. The first one is political angle, and the second one is development. Seeing that the president is, yes, our president, but still he is also a politician, there's got to be some political implications in this.
Exactly.
UDA as a party has made a lot of, let me say, in streams. It is now becoming popular in Homa Bay and Siaya counties, and generally Nyanza region. And so the president visiting, and I think this is the second time he is visiting. This is the second time he's visiting Homa Bay County.
Exactly, the second time
he's visiting Homa Bay County. And the first time we saw a lot of lackluster reception from the politicians from that area. But this time, in fact, he could even crack a joke. He said, in your area, I only received 1%.
Exactly.
In even you guys come to our area, you get 25%. The president is very strategic. I think whatever he's doing, in fact, people are starting to embrace him more.
Exactly.
There is this stereotype that has been created by politicians, especially from that region, that, the president is like this and like that. And it is good that he's managed to visit the area and spoke his heart out.
What do you think? Is Raila being overshadowed and his political career is actually going downhill?
It's not really, you cannot overshadow Raila at this moment, but with time, he shall be overshadowed. But Raila has got a lot of diehard supporters. I'm talking out of what I know. I was once a diehard of Raila, even though right now I'm in UDA. So, but I'm very happy what the president is doing. Remember, the president is going to have a 2-day tour where he's going to open a referral hospital. He's going to ground break the affordable housing system. He's going to open the market in Oyugis. He's also going to attend the Kisumu ports. I don't know, he will be delivering a speech, but I don't know what the speech about. You remember the Kisumu ports was launched, opened, and there was a lot of picture in the press, and nothing happened. In fact, right now, those ferries has got rust on the bodies. So this is also politically yeah, exactly. You remember the president is a very generous man. He's unopposed to a lot of our politicians who are very stingy people. So the president is a very smart person. In fact, there's a digital economy process. It's also be going a fiber, ICT, digital economy. Owalo is going to open another ICT somewhere. I think so. But all this, look, within a 2 days tour, a lot of development projects is going to take place in Nyanza region. Even without putting the temperature of political instigations and strategic things, we are going to benefit a lot.
You have something to say?
Yeah, I would also want to add on that. You know, I would mention something about development. You know, the previous administration was doing a lot of talking.
Exactly.
But if you go to these areas, especially in the Nyanza region and the Lake Basin, you realize that nothing is happening. The factories we expect, like fisheries and all, it's not revived as it should be. There's a lot of poverty going on. There's a lot that is happening. There's a lot that is not happening. And I think this is another chance to redeem. I think the president can redeem that image that UDA is only concentrating on certain specific areas.
But do you, and also on that note, do you think Cabinet Secretary Owalo is also instilling or building his political career by doing all these projects at the same time?
Of course, you know, he is the Minister of ICT. That basically means that in the whole, his presence should be felt in the whole country.
Exactly.
And as of now, I can feel his presence in Nyanza region alone. That I hope is not politically instigated.
No, I want to disagree with Wakili on that. The presence of Owalo, based on ICT, remember the day before yesterday, Owalo launched ICT in Kerisho, and he was going to launch another one in Kapsabet, and another one he launched in Nyeri. So I feel within a short period of time, he has always captured the 25 launching of these ICT programs. And he has a target of 25,000 per, I think, per term. Yeah.
So you think his move is not politically aimed?
Even if it is political aimed, who will not use his move to gain the win and the arts of electorate?
Well, let me say this. I'm not saying out of antagonism against Owalo. In fact, I, as a politician, as a person, I know him, and I've been with him in certain meetings, and he's a very good and articulate gentleman. He's a very good mheshimiwa. But I would a bit kind of, I feel like he's concentrated more on the food distribution, and when it comes to I saw an interview where he was talking about the digital highway that the ministry is trying to implement, which is good. But I've gone to the area and I still can't feel it. You know, I would say I would want to see this area has been set aside for digital infrastructure. Exactly. These are the IT parks, and we are going to start training these people to do this. I want to see that on the ground more than just what they're discussing in the interview.
Exactly.
And he's a man of action, so I know he will do it. But until then, I want to go to the ground and be able to see it there at the ground.
Okay, just to add something on that, I want to tell you, Wakili, that you can't experience everything at the point of now, but come August, I think you see a lot of change. July, August, you see a lot of change, but there's a lot of impact that Wala has created compared to other ministerial dockets, starting from the the office of the Mudavadi, going downwards. Walo and Ababu Namwamba will get above 5 out of 10 in my ratings.
On the same Ruto's visit, actually in his tour, he has gone and has held meetings and spoken to the region's leaders. For instance, they come from Azimio stronghold. Do you think Ruto is instigating a move to bring them to his regime, or what do you have to say about that?
Instigating a move to bring who to his regime?
The region, the people of the leaders from Nyanza region.
No, I think Ruto is, I told you, like we agreed, he is the president of the country. And perhaps he set his priority as that area is a priority for him. So he feels, let's start with this area. So I think it's not politically instigated.
Remember, politics is about interest, Emmanuel. So even if it is trying to lure some of the Azimio members in Nyanza region, if the interest is too good for you, I don't see any cause of alarm in that. And I will support if indeed doing all this development will bring a lot of people in our Kenya Kwanza regime. I will be very happy on top of that, because we want change. Transformation must be created through all means. We've lived in an era where we've been doing the same things the same times with different outcomes. So there must be change. And come 2027, you shall see a lot. Even before 2027, a lot is there to come.
Now let's shift our focus to our county, Nairobi County, where we have seen the struggles and the wrangles in the Kenya Kwanza administration. We have Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua going against the moves that the governor for Nairobi, Johnson Sakaja, on issues to deal with the public transportation. And Sakaja actually said that he's going to stay strong on his move, that the president is supporting him. And he also said that he does not support any person that is trying to divide them. What do you have to say about that, Bwana Brilliance?
Well, let me go back to what we were talking about, the cracks that we are beginning to see. I feel that this thing we are seeing playing between Deputy President Gachagua and the Governor Sakaja, and they both happen to be in the same party. This cracks we are starting to see is telling me that there is more to it than meets the eye. There's a lot of politics going on. Otherwise, why would Deputy Gachagua infringe into the docket or into the responsibilities that have been given by the people of Nairobi County to the governor? Why would he do that? He has a mandate, and in our constitution, and even this country generally, the executive is very different from the county. We have county functions and we have executive functions. And in this case, as far as public transport is concerned in Nairobi, he should let Sakaja run the show.
If I may say, because the cause of all this came when the banning of the nightclubs came on board and the restrictions of public vehicle service getting into the CBD. And all this, if I can just, without politics, watching the president talking about it, I feel that they felt that a little time may be given to the owners of the clubs so that maybe they can harmonize. Instead of banning, they can harmonize the system in a way that they are given more time to instill soundproofs so that at least no noise should come out of the club at night. And again, this also goes with the Mount Kenya business group, who owns a lot of properties in the CBD. But remember, there's not only Kikuyus who own business in CBD. It's not only Kikuyus who own the PSVs, vehicles that gets in the CBD. So in this, they assured us, and even the Sakaja himself said that they are in good terms by now, and they're working in towards development projects. And remember, Rigathi saying that they have the Sagana One coming. Sagana One coming will discuss all this together with the Kenya Kwanza people. But the Azimio wanted to take the advantage of this cracking house, so that they can. You remember Orengo saying that, oh, don't talk to Sakaja, that is not your what have you. You remember Sifuna also giving a speech on the same, whereas these people, we know very well that they're not part of Kenya Kwanza people, and they're part of Azimio people. So there's no way you can tell me that the same people who supported Rigathi, and today they want to tell us they're supporting Sakaja in his roles. Even without that, I want to make it clear that Sakaja is within his mandate to do everything in accordance to the Constitution and the Kenyan Constitution 2010. But politically, you can see 1, 2, 3 happenings.
Even if, as you wanted to add a point, Rigathi Gachagua said to the PSV's people that don't be shaken, we are going to support you. On the other side, Johnson Sakaja said, I'm in full support of the president. I will continue doing what is right for the people of Nairobi. We are left in a limbo.
Well, you know, I look at it in a different way. I understand that Sakaja he's a part of UDA party, and he has to listen to what the president says, and by extension, the deputy president. Whereas it also doesn't play well, people from the Azimio side are starting to get into these sort of cracks that are there. And this is the thing. What Sakaja was intending to do was good. There's a lot of mess in the public transportation industry in Nairobi. Is a mess. If you go to other countries, you find even within the CBD, other countries have trams, you know, that transport within the CBD, and the public transportation, these buses are all out of the CBD. Initially, this is the thing, my observation, the previous governors who tried to touch on public transportation hardly even made it to the second term. So obviously, he knows he's treading on, even though I've heard Governor Sakaja say that, you know, he's a kind of untouchable, like, you know, you cannot control him. Well, he knows that he's treading on dangerous grounds, but it's not impossible. Now, I don't have a problem with Sakaja because he had the best intention, or whatever he was trying to do, and now he has to listen to what he's being told. I have a problem with the senator. He's now become a cheerleader of the governor. Is that the reason why we elected him?
No.
That is not his work. Is one of the things is oversight. The other one is representation. I don't think as of now he has started. The only statement I have seen from him that is of worth is him cheerleading Governor Sakaja. Now, when you go to any county, and you find the senator is cheerleading the governor, you know there is a problem in that county, because the senator is supposed to do the work of oversight of the governor, and when they are friends, tight buddies like that, I don't care if that maybe they're coming from the same tribe or anything like that. That is aside. But when it comes to the point where now they're all they're cheerleading each other, there's a problem. Someone is not doing his job.
Someone is not doing. What do you have to say about that? The same President Ruto. Who is Ruto going to support actually? Because they are both his people. Is he going to support Gachagua and all the project that he's underway going to move on, or is he going to stay with the deputy president and his move to
That's why I said the Ruto is neither going to support who or who. All of these people will have to work within the law, working within the law, but not in a way of making hostility measures towards the business people, because also remember the government needs revenue and tax collections. So when you bring hostility measures towards the Kenyan citizens who give you back, who give you revenues, so it comes to a point where we shall be draining a lot. But all I know, this is one family. When they come on the table and say we want to do it this way, they shall do it that way. No one has the power against the other. And remember, I once said that even all these impeaching games are politically instigated. So if the president has got interest in changing systems, my friend, they will have to go in accordance to the president's way, whether you like it or not.
Do you concur with his statement on the same?
On which particular, because he said?
He said that President Ruto is not going to take sides. Do you think, because we need a solution, are we going to have the PS visa removed out of the...
You know, I'm a believer in looking at the actions and the words. You know, whatever politicians say, I take with a pinch of salt.
Exactly.
But I will look at the ground and see, has this public transport system been reorganized? Has it been put to place? Is there something happening? If I see, indeed, they are doing something about it, then I will say, okay, indeed, Sakaja has had his way. If I see the mess is still there and it's continuing status quo as usual, then I know Gachagua has had his way.
Exactly. As even we wind up this program, we're going to talk about ghost workers in counties. And in one of the dailies, the topic was ghost workers paradise in counties. And actually the audit in counties have been released. The shows that reveals payroll leakages. How do we deal with such? Because it has become an issue that is going on and on and on. I will begin with you, Daudi.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Ghost workers is a case that is draining the government's resources down to individuals' pockets. And you can see it's a very good experience from Kisii County, where Simbarati encountered the process strategically, holistically, right from the people in the office, step by step, even paraded the motor vehicles,
exactly.
So that you could know who has the key and who drives this vehicle and where is your driving license. And these ghost workers, these are people who are colliding right from the top of the governor's office to the bottom. Let someone not lie to you that the governor doesn't know the systems of ghost workers. They are the people who benefit from the cash that trickle down from these ghost workers. And yesterday I hear that some of these ghost workers are people that are being paid right outside the office, but they are people like bloggers or former team campaigners, agents, chief agents who are big supporters of the governors and did not get any slot in the government. So they are being awarded this to keep on sharing or blogging good things about the governor. And some of this also goes to the relatives and the compartments of the governor's office people who are doing some sort of works in the office. And a good example is you saw the large amount of money that we lost in Siaya County through the regime of Rasanga.
Exactly.
What can you say about that? That was so much shameful to our region as Nyanza region. We do say, we always complain each and every now and then that there's no development, where a lot of money is being squandered by individuals basis. And my question goes to the government. What will happen to the people who stole this money? Because even at the moment, we haven't seen any feedback about KEMSA scandal. And KEMSA scandals was a very huge amount of money that was squandered by the same people we elected to represent us. And even before that, we just concluded the 3-day budget making process sector hearing, where a lot of money is going to be channeled through the controller of budget, going back to the counties.
I can feel your pain.
Yeah.
So before we continue, you can at least give us the final say on that.
I want to urge the government to make their finalizing prosecution prospect on the people who squander and loot the government resources to book, so that we cannot be living in a system of corruption every year in, year out, year in, year out.
What do you have? What is the permanent solution to this?
I think that county governments need to set up HR audit departments, and not just HR department, but HR audit departments, because it is the need of the hour. And then they should work hand in hand with EACC, Ethics and Anti-Corruption, because this is just corruption. Just to repeat what my brother has talked about here, when we are talking about lack of development, poverty in our counties, it's because we do not have institutions that have been set up to prosecute these corrupt barons of poverty. So I think we need to deal with that. We set up HR audit.
Exactly.
And let them work together with EACC. And prosecute this.
Secretary General for KOTU, Atwoli, actually said that counties should not fire people from the previous regime, but they should retain them. It's an aim in which he believes will end such menace. Do you agree with him?
No, I don't agree with him. If people are not working, you fire them. If you find they're corrupt, you fire them. Yes, what are they doing there? You put people you can work with who you trust are ethical and competent. A lot of the people who are there, some of these ghost workers are cartels, but I'll also tell you, there are people who are working for the government or perhaps the county government, and they don't want to retire. So you find they get their pension, but they still get some amount coming to them. And if you check, how did their name get in there? Because they were actually workers. So these ghost workers were actually workers of those county governments, but maybe their contracts ended or they were supposed to retire, but they decided, you know what, that will not happen. I will continue staying here and I will continue,
Even as you finalize, what's your final comment on that, on the same, about ghost workers?
I will not support the retaining of the people who were working previously based on, I can only support it based on your track records. If your track records is worthy and you're good to go, you achieved the target that was on your table, then I don't see why you should be fired. But if you are not working and if you have a credential that shows the track record of corruptions or issues based on unethical means in the office, I cannot support that you should be retained. Kenyan citizens elected leaders to perform and deliver towards social economic growth at the grassroots level. So when someone is not performing at its best level, then I cannot support that it should be retained in the office.
Even as we wind up this discussion, gentlemen, I would like you to give your final comments on anything that is happening in this country. What is your comment to those people that are still that voted for the Kenya Kwanza regime and they are not yet seeing the outcomes? What's your ways of talking to them in this situation, even as we end this show? We'll start with
well, I would say this: our leaders are a reflection of who we are. When we see them there, we see ourselves, because in law we say we have given them our right to self-determination. They determine what you eat, what you wear, where you sleep. They determine all that. Exactly. So they're a reflection of us. We can't just, especially if you are talking about the Kenya Kwanza voters who voted them in. You don't have. This is not the time to start complaining.
Exactly.
Give them time, let them work, because you are the ones who put them there. If you don't like them, it means you do not like yourself, because what you see there, that is just who you are. Reflection of who you are.
Supporting Wakili, no fruits will be yielded within a week or two. But all I can say that a lot will be seen after some times. And we, as the young generations, youth and women of this country, Kenya, I would like to urge them to come out and hold the public servants, right from the county government to the national government, accountable. That's why I am a champion of budget champion in conducting civic education matters to CIDP, ADP, budget making process, so that our young youths should also include themselves in the process of tasking these civil servants accountable. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of a lot of youth and Kenyan citizens does not have information about the government proceedings and documentaries, budget making process. And for example, in Kibra sub-country, we have a feeder road named Kichinjio in Makina Market. This road, amount of money, 15 million, was channeled, and the road is less than 20% complete. So this Magembe came and bring the maram, and he only leveled the maram, and that was it. 15 million is gone. And if you're trying to follow up and asking about the PMC, the BQ, the contractor manager, and the people who are all based in this, they're trying to dance around. And that's why we have to come out in full swing. Even in Kibra sub-county, Makina Market. Makina Market has a problem because 17 billion pending debt, 17 million pending debt was channeled to be upgrading process, where the current process is 15% complete. So when we went to the market directors, Joyce Kiengo, the documents he has on the table is different to the ones on the ground. Okay, all I can say is thank you, and I want to urge all the young youth and generation to come on board so that we can work together.
Bwana Daudi Kose, we have to have another discussion on the same. You see, it seems you have a lot to tell us. Thank you, gentlemen, for making this show a success. I hope you will have another time to join us in the discussion.
Yes.
Well, that was the insight discussion segment of the political arenas that are taking place in the country. Well, we've come to the end of this segment. Continue engaging with us on our social media platforms on the same, that is GBS TV Africa on all social media platforms, or SMS line that is 21144. Well, that has been me, and the discussion has been fruitful. Till we meet again, have a lovely night. Yes.